Hello students, hope you are doing well. So in today's session we'll be discussing the concept of overloading of unary operators. So in our earlier lectures we have just seen how to overload binary operators. Okay. So we have just seen to overload binary plus. Okay. So binary means where there are two operands. Okay. So A plus B. It means this operator plus is being overloaded on two binary operands. Okay. So these are the operands on which this particular operator is being used. But today we will just see that what is a unary operator and how it is overloaded. So as the term suggests, unary means okay only one. So this is something like we have to perform the operation on a single object, you can see. Okay, so for example, let us suppose I have an object, okay, C1 that contains certain value 10. So if I want okay to just negate this value, I want that my answer should be minus 10. I want the negative of this value or the negation of this value. So what I'll do, I'll just write it as minus C1. Okay, so it means that there is only one operand. Okay, so C1 is the only one operand in which this minus operator is being overloaded. Okay, so this minus operator is being overloaded or being processed on this operand, that is on a single operand, and this minus operator here is now known as a unary minus. Okay, so this is a unary minus because it is now working on a single operand, it is processing on a single operand and it is giving the value f10 as minus 10. Okay, so in the same way, there are certain operators that falls into the category of unary operators. So we'll see two type of operators here. Okay, so the first one is the pre-increment operator. Okay, first one is the pre-increment operator, and the second is the post-increment operator. Okay, second is the post-increment operator. Okay, so both these operators are designated by this particular okay symbol. So double plus is used for pre also, and double plus is used for post also. So how we will distinguish okay this particular operator in terms of pre and in terms of post, and how we can overload this plus plus operator, or you can say this plus plus unary operator, we will just see. So we'll just take an example that for example okay we have a class. So I'll be just okay taking a scenario with the help of which I'll be teaching you and I'll be just clearing your concepts. So take a class, for example this is a class OP. Okay, so this is a class OP, and in this particular class OP what we have to do, we have to just take a particular variable. So this is a variable A that we are taking, and in the public section I am just taking a default constructor. Okay, so this default constructor, we will see that why we are taking this default constructor, because we will be creating an object of type OP. So for this we have to create a default constructor, that is a user defined default constructor. In the same way I'll be just taking okay a parameterized constructor that is used to just initialize the value of a. So in this we have just taken a variable x, and here I'll just assign it as a equal to x. So I hope this much is clear, and this is okay, this is easy to understand. Now what I'll do, I'll just create okay a syntax. I'll just create a syntax for this particular operator. Okay, because I have to overload this particular operator. So we will be just overloading this plus plus for pre-increment. Okay, so the first scenario is for pre-increment that I am doing. So let us write the syntax. So the syntax will be the name of the class. So here the name of the class is OP. Okay, the operator that is going to be overloaded, okay, that is plus plus, and followed by okay it must be preceded by the keyword operator. So this is very important to remember. Okay, so now this whole is working as a function now. Okay, and you just have to declare it. So I am just Okay, I am just taking an example, just that I am just declaring this particular, okay, this particular, you can say, function inside my class, and I'll be defining this function outside the class, because in our earlier examples we are just defining this function. So now I am just changing the way. I am just declaring it inside the class, and I'll be defining it outside the class with the help of scope resolution operator, so that it will be easy for you to understand, okay, in this way also. So it is very clear, we have just declared it. Okay, so this is a simple declaration. This is a simple declaration. Okay, so here what I have done, I have just taken the name of the class, that is OP, and instead of function, okay, what I am writing, I have just written operator plus plus, because I have to overload this plus plus operator. Okay, so this is, you just consider this as a function only. Okay, so and the how the function is used with the help of the common bracket. So one thing is to be remembered here. Okay, one thing that is very important to be remembered here, that when we are going to overload the unary operators, so unary operators, okay, do not take any arguments. Okay, do not take any object as argument. So there are no objects that are being passed as arguments, okay, when we are going to overload the unary operator. So here you just see that we haven't passed any argument, we haven't passed any reference, we haven't passed any object. Okay, because when we are working with the unary operator, when we are working with the unary overloading, so this overloading is on a single operand. Okay, so we are not going to pass that particular operand, okay, or the object or the reference of that operand. Okay, so there will be nothing inside this particular common bracket. So this must be remembered. Now what we'll do, okay, now we have to create a function. Okay, so let us suppose I just create a function show, that is used to display the contents. Okay, so let us suppose I just write here cout, because I have just taken only one variable, so I just write cout a is equal to, and I'll just print the value of a here. So this is, okay, not too tough, this is very simple, and I just close the class. So the class definition has been completed. Okay, so this has been terminated here. Now the next step is, okay, I'll just leave some space for the function definition. So we will cover the function definition part later on. First I'll just create a main. Okay, so I'll just create a main, and inside main what I'll do, I'll just create an object of type OP. So this is O1. Okay, that is an object of type OP, and inside this I'll just pass a value. So I just pass, okay, a constant value 10, and again I just create an object O2. Okay, so there are two objects that I have created. So for this object O2, I have just created that particular default constructor that, okay, that you can see in the program. Okay, because if I don't create that default constructor, so it will say that the definition for this object, okay, is missing, so you have to create it explicitly. So this must be remembered. Okay, so now what I'll do, if I just write O2 is equal to O1 plus plus, so okay, this is the case, but okay, as we are working, okay, but as we are working with pre-increment, okay, we are working with pre-increment, so we can't write O1 plus plus. Okay, so instead of O1 plus plus, what we have to write, we have to write plus plus O1. Okay, so there is a difference. This is pre-increment. Okay, it means that the value of O1 will be incremented, and at the same time this incremented value will be assigned to O2. Okay, so this is pre-increment. This is pre-increment, so there should be no confusion. Okay, so we have just overloaded this. Okay, so now this statement is valid here. Okay, because now we are directly working with two objects. Okay, we are just overloading, okay, with the help of this unary operator. Okay, and we are just working with the non-primitive data types. And if I just write, okay, if I just write, let us suppose cout, I want to see the change in the value. Okay, so if I just write cout after overloading, after overloading value in, okay, O2, or you can say value of A in O2, because we are working with A only. Okay, so what we have to write here, we have to just, okay, I'll just call O2 dot show. because I want to show the contents of O2. In the same way, okay, I want to see the change in the value of O1, because when this O1 will be incremented, at the same time this value must be passed to O2. So the incremented value will be passed to O2. Okay, so there should be a change in O1 also. Okay, because when the incremented value is assigned to O2, so we can see the change in O2, but at the same time we have to see the change in O1 also. So that will be the clear logic, so that we should get both the value as an incremented value. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just write cout here also. We'll just write after, okay, overloading. So this is now after overloading the value of a in O1. Okay, so we have to check the value of O1 also, that whether this value has been, okay, reflected or not. So this will be O1 dot show. So this is the requirement in. So now what we'll do, we'll just write the definition, okay, for the operator, okay, for the plus plus operator, that how it can be overloaded. Okay, so we have just, okay, created some space. So here we will just write the definition of this particular plus plus operator, that is the pre-increment operator. So here, okay, you just see, okay, so we can just see in this particular line that what it has, what this particular line represent. Okay, so this particular line says that this, okay, this operator increments the value of O1. Okay, so this particular operator, plus plus operator, is being processed on this particular object, and the value that has been returned, okay, by this object will be, okay, returned to this O2, and this O2 is also of type class, that is OP. Okay, so this O1 will return some value after processing, and that value will be returned to O2, and this O2 is an object of type OP. Okay, so now the return type will be, the return type of this function will be, what should be the return type? It should be OP. Okay, followed by the name of the class. So the name of the class is OP, followed by the scope resolution operator, because now I am defining this function outside the class. So you must, okay, so you have to be more cautious that when we define the member function outside the class, then we use this scope resolution operator. Okay, so if you don't use the scope resolution operator, then it's very difficult for us to identify the scope. Okay, so the compiler can't identify the scope for that particular function. Okay, so this is the return type, that the value will be returned in the form of an object. Okay, so the and object is of type OP, and that this is the name of the class, followed by scope resolution operator, followed by the name of the function. So now here we don't have any function. Instead of function, what we are using operator keyword. Okay, we are using operator keyword followed by the operator that we are going to overload. Okay, and this is the definition. There is no argument, there is no reference, there is no object that we have to pass here, because we are dealing with a unary operator, or a unary, you can say a unary processing is being done. Okay, so now this is the part. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just create, okay, we'll just create a temporary variable of type OP. So I'll just create a temporary variable of type OP, and what I'll just write temp dot a is equal to. So what should be the statement? What should be the logical statement? Because now we are working with pre-increment operator. We have to use the concept of pre-increment. Okay, so what we'll write, we'll just write plus plus a. Okay, so we have to write plus plus a, because now there is no argument here. Okay, so we don't have to write any dot operator. So we'll just directly, implicitly, this value of a will be passed here. It will be read by the compiler. There will be no dot operator, there will be no reference here. Okay, so directly we are changing the value of a. Okay, we are processing, we are making the changes in this value of a. Okay, so this will be plus plus a. Okay, it means that now, yes, we are logically overloading the operator, that is the pre-increment operator. And here what we'll do, we'll just return this temp. Okay, so this temp will be returned to, where it will be returned? It will be returned to this particular line, that is where we have written okay, this O2 is equal to plus plus O1. So the temp, okay, so I'll just make a note here. Okay, so this temp will be returned to this particular, okay, O2, that is object, and we'll just display this particular object with the help of the show function. Okay, so the contents of this particular object, okay, will be displayed with the help of the show function, and we have just written inside show that the value of this, the variable that is contained inside this O2 after the change must be the reflected value. So in this way, okay, we'll just do the overloading of pre-increment operator. So now one thing is very important, and we have also discussed that particular thing in the previous lecture, that the operator overloading is a concept in which we can't change the basic meaning of an operator. Okay, so it is a concept in which we can't change the basic meaning of an operator. So here, if we are working with the overloading of pre-increment operator, okay, again I am saying, if we are working with the overloading of pre-increment operator, then inside this block, okay, inside this particular block, what I have to do, I have to write the correct logic, or I have to write the logical statement. Okay, and the logical statement is I have to write temp dot a is equal to plus plus a. Okay, don't write temp dot a equal to a plus plus. Kindly don't write this. Okay, though it will also work, but the logical construct of your program will be, okay, will be changed now. Okay, the logic that you are developing, or the basic meaning of this plus plus operator will be now changed. Okay, so most of you will ask that, sir, okay, this plus plus a plus plus is also working here, there is no error. There will be no error, but what you have done, you have changed the, okay, basic definition of the plus plus operator, because we are in a condition, we have to overload this plus plus operator in terms of pre-increment operator. Okay, that's why we are doing this pre-increment task. Okay, we can do any task in this. We can also write a minus minus. Okay, we can also write a plus plus. Okay, that is not a big deal, but the basic meaning of the operator must not be changed. It must be same as it is. We can't change the behavior of the operator. Here the behavior of the operator that we are defining is pre-increment. Okay, that's why we are writing plus plus a. If you write a plus plus, then the meaning will be changed. Okay, then it will just try to give the value of a in some other way. Okay, it will process the operation, but it will be not the case that we are focusing. Okay, so try to avoid this type of illogical errors. Okay, don't try to, okay, do some practicals like this, because if you try to do these type of practicals, then you will be in a state of confusion only, because this is an illogical type of thing, that inside plus plus, okay, and we are trying to overload a pre-increment operator, and you are trying to write the logic of post. So it is not a good thing. Okay, so again I'll just again explain an important concept. So for this particular line, okay, so this particular line, that is O2 is equal to plus plus O1, it will be resolved by the compiler. Okay, this is the correct statement for pre-increment. Okay, so it will be resolved by the compiler as O2 is equal to O1 dot operator plus plus without any argument. Okay, so this is the real meaning of this particular line. So in the background, the compiler will resolve this particular statement like this. Okay, so for the compiler, it is O1 is the caller object, so O1 will invoke this operator plus plus function, and the value will be returned to O2. Okay, so you can also write this statement in spite of this statement. Both the meaning of both the statements are same. There is no change. Okay, so this is an explicitly defined statement by the user. Okay, it is same as like that of a compiler is judging, or the compiler is, you can say, processing the results in behind. Okay, so I hope now the concept is clear. So now the output will be, okay, the value of O2, okay, the value of A in O2 will be 11. At the same time, the value of A in O1 will also be 11, because it is a pre-increment task. Okay, so what happens in pre-increment? Okay, if I just write, okay, so what is the meaning of pre-increment? So if I just take, okay, two variables of type int, and if I just take x equal to 10, and if I write y is equal to plus plus x, so it means increase the value of x and at the same time assign this incremented value to y, so that y is also equal to x is also equal to 11. So both the values will be 11 when we just try to print it. And in the same way, the post increment will be, if I just write y is equal to x plus plus, so it means first assign the value of x to y, then increase the value of x. So in this case the output will be y is equal to 10 and x is equal to 11. So this is the concept of post increment. So now if I try to overload the plus plus operator for post increment, so now there will be a state of confusion for the compiler, because this plus plus operator is common to both. It is common to pre also and it is common to post also, because plus plus is same. It is also working in pre and it is also working in post. If I write a plus plus, then it means post, and if I write plus plus a, it means pre. So plus plus is the same operator that is working on the operands. So the behavior of this plus plus operator needs to be changed. So in order to tell the compiler that yes, now this plus plus will operate in a post way, what C++ has defined, it has defined a new rule that when you are dealing with the operator overloading of post increment, then you have to pass an integer as a dummy argument. So you have to just write int as a dummy argument. So this is only a dummy argument. So this tells the compiler that now the operator that is going to be overloaded is a post increment operator. It is not a pre increment operator. So I'll just tell, and you have to just do some changes also. So in spite of plus plus a, you have to do a plus plus, and that's it, and your the concept will be fine. And here also you'll just write when you are just declaring it, you also have to write int here also. So this is only a dummy value, this is only a dummy parameter. So the syntax is for pre increment. For pre increment, the syntax is like that. You have to write operator plus plus, and there are no arguments. There are no arguments. So here this is the return type, followed by operator plus plus and no argument. And for post, what you will be doing, you will be just writing the return type, return type followed by operator plus plus, and inside this you have to pass int as a dummy argument. So now this int tells the compiler that yes, now the overloading is of post type, not pre type, because if I don't write int here, then now the compiler will confuse that which operator, which type of operator and which type of operation do I have to perform. Either I have to perform the pre increment or I have to perform the post increment. So it is a state of confusion. So C++ developers has created a new convention that they say that just write int, just pass int as a default argument when you are trying to overload or when you are trying to work with the post increment type of thing, or the you can say post decrement type of thing. So post increment or post decrement, in both the cases, in both the post cases, you have to pass an integer as a dummy argument. So if I just write C2 is equal to, let us suppose, C1 plus plus. So this is now the this is now the working of, you can say, the statement that is valid for the post. This is valid for post. So now this statement will be resolved by the compiler as it will be resolved by the compiler, or it will be seen by the compiler in the background as C2 is equal to C1 dot operator. And it will just pass, compiler will just pass a dummy value that is 0. So it will not be seen to you if you don't write this particular line, because this is an explicit line that user might write. But if you just write this, so compiler will automatically for this particular integer, it will just assign pass a dummy value that is 0. But if you explicitly want to write this line okay, in spite of C2 is equal to C1 plus plus, so you can also write, okay, this will be plus plus here. So if you want to explicitly write this line, so you can write like C2 is equal to C1 dot operator plus plus and 0. So you can also change this value, you can write any dummy value, okay. So I can also write C2 is equal to C1 dot operator plus plus 10. I can also write 10.55, okay. I can also write 100.20, because all these values will be, okay, will be converted to integer internally by the standard conversions, as we have discussed in the earlier lecture, by the compiler, okay. So by default, compiler passes the default value, that is 0, but user can also change this value when explicitly the user write this type of syntax, okay. So if you write this syntax, if you just write C2 is equal to C1 plus plus, then there is no need to pass any value, the compiler will resolve. But if you don't write this and you are writing this particular type of thing in as a syntax in overloading the post increment or post decrement operator, then you have to certainly pass some dummy value, okay, here. So you can pass any value, but it must be some valid value, okay. Don't pass string and all that of things, okay. You can pass character, okay, you can pass like this character only, so it will be resolved to you can say integer, but kindly don't pass string and kindly don't do any type of, okay, illogical, you can say experiments. So I hope now it is clear to you. So what will be the output? So if the value of C1 is 10 and we have just write C2 is equal to C1 plus plus, so it means, okay, so what it means? It means that now this value of C1, okay, this value of C1, first C1 will be assigned to C2 and then the C1 will be incremented. So this is the statement, okay. So the output will be, okay, so there are two values, one value of A that is in this C1 and one value of A that is in this C2. So there are two values, as we can see, the one value is of A of C1 and one value of A of C2. So now A of C2 will be is equal to 10 and A of C1 will be equal to 11, because this will be the original value that will be assigned, and after this the value of A will be incremented, okay, that we have discussed, okay. What we have discussed like this is like, okay, first C1 will be assigned to C2 and then C1 will be incremented, okay. So first the value that is contained in C1 is 10 is assigned to C2 and C2 will be 10, okay, or the value of A that is inside C2 will be 10, and then the value of A in C1 will be incremented and it will become 11. So it will be like, okay, what we have to write? We have to write like temp dot A is equal to A plus plus. Okay, so this is of C1 and this is of C2. Okay, so first of all, okay, so temp will contain now, okay, the A of temp will contain the value, okay, as 10, and after, okay, after this the value of A of C1 will be incremented and it will become 11. Okay, so output will be O2 is equal to 10 and O1 is equal to 11. Okay, so this we will see when we'll try to develop a program, and I'll just show you that how this is, okay, working. So thanks.